Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Fighterz, or Fighterz. I prefer the wording Fighterz, but there you go. So I spent a little bit of time with this game. I think I'm probably played it for about 14-15 hours now. Since I got it on release, or no, the day after release even. It was actually quite expensive, really. Usually I'm able to find stuff a little bit cheaper, but not this one. Bandai obviously must keep a tight rein on their pricing, keep it all the same for console and PC. So yeah, anyway, I do generally pick up the odd fighter game here and there. I bought Tekken 7 last year. And I feel like, especially when you get these sort of spin-off fighting games, so ones that aren't like a main series, like a main franchise, like your Tekken, your Street Fighters, your BlazBlues, that's how you pronounce it, isn't it, I think? And I suppose to a certain extent, Injustice now and Mortal Kombat and the like of them. So they all feel like they're their own, you know, reputable series that have their own style. They feel, you know, Tekken feels very Tekken, Street Fighter feels very Street Fighter. So I've always played quite a lot of Tekken since I was a kid. I'm not very good at fighting games, let me get that point straight off the bat. But I remember back when I used to live in Huddersfield, I played on Street Fighter X Tekken. So me and the guy that had that I thought I might be okay at that. I've never played Street Fighter really at all. But, you know, I did play a lot of Tekken. Obviously, it was all done in the Street Fighter universe, and it was all very... it seemed to be... all the gameplay and stuff seemed to be around Street Fighter rather than, you know, the Tekken characters were just there as extras. Anyway, I'm getting away from this game, but the fact of the matter is, one of the greatest plaudits I can say for Dragon Ball Fighterz is that it does feel like its own game. It feels like this could potentially now become a franchise if Namco want to carry it on. So, because there is that unique feel there, there's its own tactics, there's its own playstyle that you have compared to Street Fighter, Tekken, you know, that sort of thing. I would say it probably is more closely related to Street Fighter in some regards, but for me it feels fresh, feels innovative, and you know, there's a few things to get used to. So, for example, I was really not keen on the whole 3v3 fighting. That's not something I've ever particularly enjoyed. Tekken Tag was something different, you know, it was away from the main series, so, you know, you could accept that, you could, you know, come to terms with that, but the way they've integrated the characters all together in the 3v3 is actually really good, with the assists, with switching in and out. The combination of super moves as well is, I really like that, because you can also do the switching as well. You can force your opponent to switch, so it adds another layer of tactics to it, which obviously overall it is just a standard 2D fighter. Now the graphics look perfect, as you would expect. I think it really gets the cel shaded stuff really right. I mean, this is probably as good as a Dragon Ball game should look, because, you know, you go any more further with the realism, it comes away from the cartoons, and people want it to look like the cartoons, and this does an absolute brilliant job. It's like for like, the animations are pretty much spot on. I've not noticed any sort of issues with that at all. Each character feels different, they've got their own tactics, they don't really feel like clones of one another. Obviously you've got Goku and Vegeta have got Super Saiyan, they've got Super Saiyan God as well. Sorry, Super Saiyan Blue, my apologies. And obviously they play a lot more similar than, you know, so they don't necessarily feel like separate characters as such. I mean, there are some slight variations, some slight differences, but, you know, you've obviously got the their base attacks and everything that's there pretty much exactly the same. However, having said that, all the rest of the characters do feel, you know, you will gain different playstyles for different characters, and there are quite a few there to begin with. I personally would have liked to have seen a few more in the roster, just because obviously I feel like some people are duplicated, like you've got Kid Gohan and then Adult Gohan as well, and stuff like that. So personally I would have liked to have seen a few more of the mainstays in there. Now, one of the criticisms I do have, it's only a slight criticism and it has got better, but Bandai Namco Bandai, that's better. They always like to have like these online universes, you know, like we saw in Xenoverse, which I played the first one. So you have a little avatar, go wandering around, you can use quick chat, use stickers, talk to people, get into online matches. But the only problem with that is that's how you go about doing all your local play as well. So if you want to set up local 1v1, or if you want to go into your training or your story mode, you're there in this online lobby with a load of other people, which, you know, it's a bit off-putting to start off with, because you just think, you know, I just want to play by myself locally, not have to worry about any online stuff. I don't really feel as though I would ever get involved in that anyway. I'm really not good enough, unless obviously someone else who I knew had the game and wanted to have a few fights or whatever. That would be different. So that's my only real criticism. But the thing that they have improved on with that is that it now has an auto-join lobby, so you no longer have to pick your region, pick your lobby and join that. So it will just put you straight into one off the bat, rather than you having to faff around with picking a lobby and stuff. So I definitely feel as though that's a much needed improvement. It makes it all a lot more seamless from the menu to actually, from the main menu into getting into the, you know, online avatar universe thing. That's a welcome improvement as far as I'm concerned. So less of the faffing around, the better, in my opinion. So yeah, I really don't have any complaints about the game. I think it's brilliant for what it is. If you really like Dragon Ball, or you like fighting games, 2D fighters, if you like both, then chances are you're going to absolutely adore this game. I feel like it's probably going to be one of the best games we'll have all year, to be honest, and in terms of fighters, it's probably one of the best ones I've played in a while. It feels a lot fresher than, you know, a lot of the other ones I've played. Tekken 7 feels very much like Tekken, which is no bad thing, but it doesn't really make any major improvements neither. So, whereas this one, you know, feels fresh, feels different. It's got the Dragon Ball universe. They're adding a load of the newer characters to it, as well as DLC. I'll have to see if I even bother getting them, because the fighter pass is like £30, which is pretty much almost exactly what I paid for the game as well. It seems like a lot of money, to be honest. The story mode's fine. It's pretty much as you would expect. The story's pretty much as you would expect, considering obviously, you know, the scope of trying to make everything balanced, you know, in sort of the story aspect of it. You know, there's a new baddie, Android 21. That's no real spoiler. You know, that's quite interesting. That's been designed by some of the original artists, so it's, you know, it's come from a good source, so it feels all pretty organic in there. No major qualms or queries with that. It's just a, you know, a fighting game story. It's pretty much as you would expect, I suppose. So yeah, my sort of final verdict is it's a good solid 9 out of 10. There's a couple of things I say they could improve on. I'm not keen on the, you know, the little online avatar universe. They've obviously improved that. I'd like to see more characters off the bat. That's one of the things I'd like to have seen. And also maybe instead of having purely 3v3, because there are times in the campaign where you do 1v1, 2v2, I think they should add those options in as well. I'd like to see, you know, that gameplay incorporated into the base gameplay as well. I realise obviously they'd have to slow the game down or adjust, you know, attack strengths and that sort of stuff, but it's definitely more than possible. And yeah, I don't know if did I give it a score? Yeah, 9 out of 10. Brilliant. I'm sure you'll probably see it on my top 5 games of 2018 list. Fairly certain of that so far, unless some major really good stuff comes out this year. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the review. Any comments, queries, questions, leave them down below. That's a lot of Q's and C's. And I'll get back to you. Really enjoying obviously doing these reviews on newer games, and yeah, a lot of you guys have been enjoying some of the other stuff I've done, so let's see how this one goes. Thanks for watching everybody. See you all next time. Goodbye.